What is going on, YouTube people? Neo Cards and Comics here. Today to talk a little PSA. I said on the live stream I was not 100% sure that I was going to dive into this and give some comment on it because I wasn't sure that I necessarily had anything super crazy to add. And then I kind of thought about it, and there was some other PSA stuff I wanted to briefly touch on. So I figured, all right, let's just go ahead and fire away here. So I assume by now everyone is very familiar with this story. If you didn't see the Bench Clear media videos, I would highly recommend checking those out. There are two separate ones. I will link to them in chronological order in the description of this video. Long story short, Ty from Bench Clear Media, who I do not know. I've never had any interaction with Ty or the Bench Clear folks. They seem like perfectly fine guys. I check out some of their videos on occasion. I don't sit and watch every single one. But I have checked out some of their stuff in the past. Ty sent a Trey Lance low-numbered select off to PSA to be graded. He got his return back. There was a different Trey Lance, a much less valuable Trey Lance in his order. The first video was him documenting trying to get that card back. The second video, which is the one that we're going to talk about, is kind of the fallout or what happened from that situation. PSA basically could not find the card, offered him $700 after some back and forth on the value of the card. And he did have to go through a bunch of rigmarole to even get to this point, multiple phone calls, queues, emails, DMs, etc. So they get to that point, they send over the paperwork to sign, and then this is where things kind of get off the rails. Part of the agreement for PSA to pay him the $700 value on the card is essentially an NDA. We'll give you this money, but we don't want you talking about this situation. And this was just a generic. This wasn't necessarily because he's a content creator. I think this was a general document they would hand any average person that had a situation like this go down. But it's obviously a much more complex situation because Ty has a voice. He is a known person in the hobby. And they knew who they were dealing with as well. Like, they did not know that this wasn't Ty from Bench Clear Media at this point in time anyway. Initially, early on, maybe not. And basically there was an NDA in there and said, yeah, we'll give you the $700, but keep your mouth shut, essentially. And he pushed back on that, and they said, okay, cool. We'll give you the $700, but any content that you do around this, you have to send to us first to review. So that's essentially the whole situation. I mean, this thing was basically bungled right from the get-go from a customer service side of things. I'm not sure who's in charge of the customer service with PSA. I know, obviously, like one or two people at PSA that are officially employed by the collector's sphere. But I don't know anyone on the customer service team, at least not that I'm aware of anyway. And this is just one, it's a bad look, period, for anyone. Obviously, the NDA being in there for your average person, honestly, probably isn't that huge of a deal. You know, your average hobby person, I don't know, has a few hundred Instagram followers, maybe 1,000. Same on Twitter, whatever. They don't have a YouTube channel. They might not even be on social. Who knows? So an NDA to someone like that is not going to be a massive deal. Now, they knew that this was Ty's situation. They knew that he had already done one video on it, which got like 30-some thousand views. And now there's this. Why, just from a business standpoint, if you're sitting in a conference room and you're saying, hey, you're having a discussion with your boss and saying, hey, how do we want to handle this situation? You would think you want to make this slide as smooth as humanly possible from just a corporate PR marketing / customer service thing. You know, listen, this is going to sound, I don't know. People probably aren't going to like this, but if I was PSA / collectors, you would be damn sure I would be giving Ty special treatment. 1,000%. If I was in charge of their customer service team and I was doing this, and you might say this is the dumbest thing ever, whatever, how dare you, how could you possibly say this? Or of course you'd say something like this because you'd want a company to treat you special too. It's just smart business. Like, let's just look at this from an outside perspective. Because they were, wanted to enforce an NDA over a $700 card, which is like pocket lint to collectors. Now, they would much rather just write a $700 check to never have all this negative press about it. Ty has not done a second follow-up video about it. I think as of time of recording, this video has, where's the view count at? Boy, you would think I make YouTube videos for a living. I don't know. I think it's like 5,000 or 6,000 views at the time that I'm recording this. It doesn't have nowhere near as much traction as the first video did. And you see, fellow content creator Inglorious Pete on here, first comment. The fact that you were treated this way is just a sign to me. Imagine one of us without the leverage you have in regards to how they would be treated. I mean, that's my whole point. If I'm PSA, you're damn straight I am giving Ty special treatment in this case, especially when the first video is already out there. The first video is in the wild, so he's already talked about it publicly. What are you doing? All this over $700, and any marketing person would tell you, any customer service person would tell you, you'll gladly cut that $700 check to keep this out of, this sphere, because he's done his videos on it. Carlos has done a video on it. Dan the Cardman has done a video on it. I'm probably forgetting people that have done videos on it. I don't know if AIH did one on it. And probably countless other channels that I'm not even familiar with, and that I probably am familiar with and just are forgetting, have done videos about it. People were talking about it. People was brought up on my live stream last night. People were talking about it at a card show the other day. It's just like all because of $700. My background, my day job, I get this question a lot. What is your day job? My day job is very customer service focused. I'm an account manager. I'm in the field most of the day, visiting various accounts, troubleshooting things if there are any problems, checking in, fixing things if there are, this, that, and the other thing, essentially, for the company that I work for. That is my day job. It's extremely customer service focused. I've been doing it for a very long time. It's very relationship based. This would just never fly. I would never let something like this happen. Not completely different businesses. It's kind of apples to oranges, but just from like a customer service standpoint, in regards to things that make sense, it's wild to me that it got this far down the line without someone stepping in and being like, wait a second, guys and girls, let's just expedite this process as quickly as humanly possible. Some people will probably say, oh no, good on PSA for taking a hardline stance. Different people shouldn't get special circumstances. Cool. Go back to the fairy tale land that you live in, where people don't get special treatment depending on their social media following, their status, who they are, where they are, whatever. If that's the world you want to live in, cool. Good luck with that. That's not the world that exists. That's not the real world. And like I said, some people might be saying, oh, cool, yeah, champion PSA for the fact that they treated him just like any other average person. Which, on one hand, I guess, sure. If you want to take that approach, I'm not going to hate you for it. But from a business perspective, from a customer service perspective, from a PR perspective, from a marketing perspective, this thing's just been bungled initially from the start. He shouldn't, once the video went live, and he did say in this video that someone did reach out to him from PSA to like take care of this and make it right. But it's still like, listen to this. And Ty's very gracious about, how he worked through the process. He didn't pull the, don't you know who I am card, any of that stuff. And the fact that the first video went live, someone from PSA contacted him and said, we're going to take care of this. And then it dragged on for like multiple days. When you watch this, if you haven't already, he talks about like it went to one person and they said, oh, hold on, I got to escalate this to someone else. A couple days went by. Here's the value that we're willing to give you. He disagreed on the value because they gave him a bad value initially on a PSA 9. Oh, okay, hold on a second. That's going to take a couple days. Let me send it back to this other team. Like all these steps that he had to go through. And this was after they were aware of who they were dealing with, what they were dealing with, and the fact that there was a video sitting out there with 30-some thousand views on it or whatever it is. How is it that as soon as that video goes live and makes the rounds and this situation comes out, someone from PSA isn't directly on the phone with him and saying, hey, we will figure out what happened to the card. Don't worry about it. Here's the value you were assigning with it. We are cutting you a check. It's in the mail. It's on the way. What's your transfer stuff? What's your PayPal? Whatever it is, it's on its way to you, and then we'll figure it out after the fact. That was the other thing. They made him wait. He had to send back the card that he got sent in there, which perfectly fine. I get it. And he even said, like, it's not my card. I shouldn't have it. But PSA would not do anything until they got that card back in their possession. I mean, guys, what are you doing? What are you doing? Like, none of this makes any sense from a customer service standpoint. It is still the biggest issue and the biggest complaint I hear about PSA from front end to back end is the customer service side of things. Now, to their credit, they say they're working on it. It is a major goal for 2023. We will see. There should be a team of people that anytime something oddball like this pops up, that it immediately goes in front of and say, how do we resolve the situation as fast as humanly possible? The second that video released, they should have been contacting him. I'm sure they have his contact information. I think he's been at Collectors before for chasing cardboard. Don't quote me on that. I could be wrong, but regardless, they know how to get a hold of him if they need to. Someone should have contacted him immediately, said, here's the value of the card. Send the other one back, please. And then here's some free grading credit or whatever on top of it. Sorry for the way that this situation went down. On our end, we are going to go back and we are going to look to see where this fell apart. We're going to do our internal investigation, but you don't need to worry about that. It's clear you didn't get your card. Something went wrong. We're going to take care of this for you, and then we'll figure it out on our end. And if they really wanted to go above and beyond, however long that investigation took, they would go back to him and say, hey, this is what happened. When we screw something up at work, that's how I handle it. Take care of the customer immediately. Get the customer and whatever the situation is resolved right then and there. Figure out the who, what, where, and why later. That's not important. Take care of the customer first. Figure out the internal process where it broke down, and then follow back up with the customer and say, hey, we know you had this issue. Here's what happened. This thing happened, this thing happened, this thing happened. That's something we're going to be working to fix. This is something that we were able to make an immediate change because of something that came out of this. So thank you to bringing this to our attention, whatever spin you want to put on it. But this should have never gotten to the level that it did for anybody, but especially for someone that has the platform like Ty and Bench Clear do. Once again, you may think that's fair. You may think it's not. But if I'm PSA/collectors or any business and I am actively looking at an issue for a content creator in this space, you can guarantee I'm going to make sure that goes smooth. Because we all know how this ends. Everyone wants it. I'm not saying that's what Ty's doing here, but just generally speaking, people are looking for any excuse to attack a big company to make the clickbait thumbnail, the clickbait title, the shake your fist at big corporate overlord here. People are dying for that. And then you just literally hand it to them on a silver platter. And once again, I am not saying at all that's what Ty did here. If you watch his videos, that's not at all what he did. But some people would. Why give anyone the excuse? And like I said, he's done his videos on it, and now it's making the merry-go-round. Everyone's taking their turn with it to give their take, their thoughts. And, guilty as charged. Here I am doing mine with probably some clickbait thumbnail and title to get you to check out the video. And all that is stuff that could have been simply avoided if they would have just handled this thing right off to begin with. Or just have a better process internally so you don't lose people's cards. That would be helpful too. So that's all I have for you, boys and girls. The other thing I was going to talk about, but we're just going to skip it. PSA Golden launched another vault, or not a vault, but a new marketplace. It's like Golden, but it's for cheaper stuff. Go check out the website. Will I send them anything? No, I don't really like vaulting services. It's not for me. Would I buy from them? Sure, potentially. If a card is on there for the right price, I'll look at it on any major selling platform that's legitimate. You know, I watch the PWCC auctions. I don't typically buy from them, but if there's a card that I want, I wouldn't hesitate. Same here. I'm not going to actively send my cards in to be graded and then send them to Golden to be vaulted. But if something cool comes up on auction that I'm interested in, I'll take a look at it. I might bid on it. I won't store it there. I'll have it shipped home. Not a big vault guy, typically. So that was the other PSA / thing that happened today. Was them teaming up with, not teaming up, they're already teamed up with Gold, but them expanding this. This is supposed to launch in January sometime. Details are on the website talking about the different breakdown of it. So if you haven't checked out Bench Clear Media videos on this topic, go ahead and go check those out. Catch you guys and girls on the next one. Peace.